Gramophone trauma. To understand the gramophonic trauma that this dissertation discusses, you must first understand what a gramophone is. In 1877, Thomas Edison released his invention, the phonograph. This played sound using cylinders. In 1887, 10 years later, Emil Berliner patented his disc-playing invention called the gramophone. The earliest records were made of rubber, which Berliner then changed to shellac or resin as a material of choice. The disc format, cheap and easy to mass produce, helped transform the talking machine from an experimental novelty into a commercial success. Today's audio CDs are essentially digital versions of Berliner's original gramophone record, with encoded grooves, read by a laser now instead of a needle. Now onto the dissertation Gramophonic Trauma, the object as cultural mnemonic in Irish literature. This dissertation takes Irish modernism and shows what ways the trauma represented by the gramophone are linked to cultural trauma specific to Ireland. A gramophone is both a voiced and muted object. The gramophone amplifies cultural histories, often trauma from violence and disruption, and holds a physical story of the scars left behind by these traumatic encounters. This dissertation also enters the conversation of gramophones and links the previous media studies to thing theory. Thing theory is when an object becomes a thing when it no longer serves its common function or does what it's supposed to do. This dissertation discusses 20 Irish texts that hold the gramophone as a significant object and tell some sort of cultural trauma. For instance, in Dracula, the speaking tradition of Ireland is under attack, and the phonograph, a machine that presumably preserves living oral culture, is essentially killing what it attempts to preserve. In George Bernard Shaw Pygmalion, the gramophone is feminized. In Elizabeth Bowen's The Last September and Sean O'Casey's Juno and the Paycock, the machine is inspired with the physical and psychological violence of the war in Ireland. And in works like Flann O'Brien's At Swim Two Birds and Brian Fryell's The Gentle Island, the gramophone is a manifestation of post-war tensions, both psychological and political, that can erupt in violence when left unresolved. In conclusion, by making a distinction between the gramophone as an instrument and as an object, this dissertation traces connections between the physical thing as well as its recorded archives of history, trauma, and identity.